Hello there, and thank you for joining me here on the ice, brought to you by Pembina Source for Sports, Caisse Financial Group, as always. On today's show, we're going to talk about some summer hockey as well as a summer hockey, spring hockey program that started up back in October 2019. They've grown tremendously. They've taken some new acquisitions and some new teams under their umbrella, as well as some very exciting news coming at the end of August. Summer hockey, spring hockey, and player development under the Manitoba Junior ICE hockey program. Joining me today is Rhys van Kemenade from the Manitoba Junior ICE program. So please welcome him on the ice. Rhys, thanks for joining me today in beautiful confines of your home, it looks like. How are we doing today?
Doing well, Theo. Thanks for having me.
Now, I got to be excited, and I am excited because I love summer hockey. I love seeing development of hockey. Tell us a little bit about what happened back in October with the Manitoba Junior ICE program starting here in Winnipeg.
Yeah, so a little history of our new program, I guess. Spring hockey's been sort of alive and well in Winnipeg for a long time. It's predominantly run under two banners, that being the Manitoba Hockey Development, or MHD, and the Manitoba Mustangs. So both of those programs have been sort of long-standing programs, and this year the group at 50 Below undertook bringing those two programs together and putting them under the umbrella of the Manitoba Junior ICE.
So this program, does it run year-round? I mean, registration happens early, which we'll talk about for 2021,
Yep.
But the program predominantly runs which months?
Yeah, so our program typically runs April till June, end of June typically is when our kids play.
Okay, so we have July and August off. Of course, this year's a little bit different because we had a bit of a pandemic going around if you have been living under a rock the last 5 months. But nonetheless, hockey is live and well. We have seen some of those restrictions, those guidelines lifted as well. We'll get to the tournaments. What type of programming can a player see from the Manitoba Junior ICE program?
So the whole idea, in the past, spring hockey has sort of only been for those kids that are elite kids. They've gone and been handpicked out of their teams, and they compete in these tournaments. We've tried to bring spring hockey a little bit out of the shadows as far as that goes. We want to, obviously there's different experiences. The experience is sort of at the forefront. So we still have a program for elite kids, but we want to offer that same experience to kids of all skill levels. So have our elite programs, our elite divisions, and then we would go into a AAA division, an open division. Giving kids of all different skill levels an opportunity to play in just play a little more hockey in April and May.
The season usually ends end of March, early April, so it fits well, giving them that extra couple of months. What years, like how old are these kids we're talking about? We're not talking about 15, 16-year-olds because Lord knows there's programming and there's summer development camps. And if you're at that level, you're already competing or playing with WHLs and MJ programming already. So what years are we talking about developing young children?
Yeah, so typically we're starting at a 7-year-old. So next year will be the 2014 group, will be the youngest. So if they're born in 2014, and then we go as high as 2005. So you do get the 15-year-old age. Typically, those are a program that's more just they want to play in a couple tournaments and a few practices. They're already doing all of the other, like you mentioned, the development programs in the summer and that sort of thing. So it's more just for tournaments. Whereas the younger age kids, they're practicing together all through the spring. They're coming together playing in 3 to 4 tournaments and then, like I said, finishing up in mid-June.
I should have went downstairs and grabbed the old Mustang jerseys from back in the day.
Yep.
The Extreme weren't around back then, but we also had the Winnipeg Selects, dating myself. ID camps was something that's not a new concept, but it allows players to basically be assessed by other coaches, players, programmers that are involved with the Manitoba Junior ICE. From the ID camps, how do they get assessed to certain teams?
Yeah, so I'll maybe give you sort of the step-by-step here. So typically now you register with the Manitoba Junior ICE on our website. That allows you to get more information about the ID skates. ID skates are typically, we'll have 20 to 30 kids out on the ice. It's 15 minutes of sort of skills and drills, and then it moves into more of just an organized scrimmage. Everyone's assigned a penny, and we give our coaches a lot of freedom in picking the teams. They're a big part of that, along with the age director and some of the other directors within the program. But typically we do call it a tryout, whatever you will, a showcase, and then the teams are selected. We typically select our extreme team, which is our Manitoba Junior ICE Extreme, which is our top team that competes in the elite division, and then we pick sort of down from there until we get to sort of open level teams, which open level teams is a little bit different. We really promote bringing a group of friends together that want to play through the spring. You can have sort of kids from all different backgrounds that come together and play a few tournaments and 10 or 12 practices and have a really cool experience. So it's the elite. We do these tryouts or these evaluations, ID skates, whatever we want to call them. We do those because a lot of kids work hard they have their goals set on making a specific team. And if in the past, like you mentioned with the Selects and Mustangs, it was a dad going out and just picking, his kids that he saw or friends of kids, and it wasn't necessarily the best of the best. They had great players, but this allows people to work hard at their craft and then potentially make whatever team that they should be on, and yeah, it just gives it a little bit more credibility.
That's exactly the word credibility I was going to say is my next question, because you get a group of 5 or 6 friends that want to play on the same team. It's great and all, but I mean, at the same time, you want to see your best foot put forward as well, and you want to develop. How does the development, once you get selected, how does the amenities and the resources around the Junior ICE program help the player on and off the ice?
Yeah, so once the team is put together, the coaching staff is kind of assembled. Again, we typically start with a head coach, someone that we know. Usually, it's a parent at a younger age. When we get to the older ages, it's typically outside coaches that come in and coach that team. So once the team is made, obviously we have fittings and jersey fittings and apparel and all of that sort of stuff that goes along with it. The coach sort of sets out a schedule. Our elite teams, they'll meet together, half a dozen to 10 times, say, through the winter, maybe skate together a little bit, nothing crazy. Our goal is to work in conjunction with Hockey Manitoba. We're not here to try and steal players from them and have them go all on their own. We're looking to have this sort of work in unison with them. So we try and find times where it's not affecting their winter program. The kids skate together, and then come April, now it comes into a little bit more of a routine. So the jerseys and apparel, everything comes in. They start practicing. Elite teams typically practice 2 to 3 times a week. AAA to open, or 1 to 2 times a week. So they kind of practice through the tournaments. We try to space out throughout the spring season, and they'll play in open teams, typically 3 local, maybe a travel for the 4th tournament. Extreme teams, we recommend that they do travel once and then play in the 3 local ones that we have here.
Registration for 2020 is closed because we have 1 tournament left. Those teams have been put together, but registration for 2021 is actually opening up fairly soon, right, Rhys?
Yeah, it's kind of again, this has been a bit of a crazy year. Typically, we would be done in June, and now we'd be starting our registration up. Here, we're not even finished, and we're kind of starting registration up for 2021. We're looking at it as though it's going to be a normal season. That's the only way we can really prepare for it. Financially, we're not going to be collecting money anytime soon from teams until we have a little bit of a vision forward. So this year, yeah, we're starting just to register, find out about ID skates at the beginning of September. ID skates will start, kind of mid-September to end of September, and then teams are typically picked around November, early December.
So, as you mentioned previously, complementing their other team that they're playing with. So
Yes.
this is a program that, like you said, is assisting player development through playing a spring-summer program with the opportunities to still play with their current team for the fall and winter.
Yeah, so I want to touch on that a little bit here. The term development gets thrown around a lot.
It's a broad word. I mean, it means everything. It's a huge umbrella word. I know it's fluid.
Exactly.
It's like you're mentioning the word fluid right now. I don't like it, but go on.
Exactly. No, development gets thrown around a lot. Obviously there's a huge focus on development. We have excellent coaching in our program. We've utilized the rink for a lot of their coaching for on ice stuff. Development is definitely there. Honestly, what we're selling is an experience here, and that's what we're doing. It's a lot of fun. These kids are all like-minded kids coming together. I have two of my own that are participating in the program, and we've got friends now from all over Manitoba that kids that they've played together with for the last 2 or 3 years. This is not just we're trying to manufacture NHL players here. That some of these kids may make it, some of them may not. A lot of them probably won't. But again, we're trying to promote an experience of meeting new kids from around Manitoba and having a good time playing a sport that obviously we all love, but the kids seem to love even more. So
it's coming back soon. The bubbles have been organized. We've got the big boys starting to play this upcoming week. So we're gonna take a quick break, Rhys. We're gonna talk about where these teams played, as well as our tournament that's happening at the end of August. So stay with us here on the ice.
Hi, I'm Nettie Weiss from Metal Master. You had an accident? Sometimes they're embarrassing, but they're always inconvenient. We have an incredible staff to take care of you. We have platinum certified techs in 4 different categories. We are certified as a gold class accredited shop. If you've made a claim already, perfect. Call us with your claim number. If you need a claim opened, give us a call. We'll walk you through it. Sometimes you can get a little nervous dealing with NPI. We'll help you out. Metal Master Auto Body, straighten it out.
Talking with Rhys van Kemenade of the Manitoba Junior ICE program. Where some of these tournaments occurred in recent years, Rhys? Where have these young players had the opportunity to travel to?
Yeah, so we have teams traveling all over North America. We obviously host we have 4 weekends of local tournaments here for varying age groups and gender. And that's something that I didn't mention in the first half. This is for both male and female now. That's one of the big changes that we've seen. It used to just be boys hockey that was doing spring hockey. Girls is coming on with a vengeance here. There a lot of girls want to play. So we do locally. We have the 3 male tournaments and the 1 female tournament. And then our kids travel. So Minnesota is obviously just with proximity, nice and close, easy to get to. They've got lots of teams, so you can find a level for everybody. We deal with Regina. We had our brick team going to Toronto. We had a team going to Nashville. We have 2 teams going to Vegas. There's a lot of sort of the vacationing type destinations that we do go to as well.
No, I love Nashville. I mean, I remember as a young star playing Minneapolis many years. It was always the main center point going to the States. Calgary was a big one as well.
Yeah.
We had a tournament a couple weeks back in Winnipeg, the first one of the summer. I know usually these are in the springtime. The North American Hockey Classics, correct?
Yes. So we due to the success of Manitoba and combating COVID a little bit, we were fortunate enough to be able to host a tournament. So tournament can be a little bit of a scary word in these times. This is something, typically we're running a tournament of 130 to 150 teams. This particular one was 68 teams, predominantly local Manitoba teams, a few from Northwestern Ontario, and a couple of border town out west. So it was a really enjoyable experience for the kids. Anyone I talked to that was at the tournament had a lot of fun. The kids it just felt like a little bit of a sense of normal again. And I think for the kids, that's a big thing that's been missing. I've had lots of conversations with parents, and it was something that they all looked forward to. Obviously safety was top of mind with that. We had more staff on hand than we do at a typical tournament to try and, guide crowds around a little bit, which when I say crowds, just gatherings in between games. Yeah. We have people would empty out of the rink and want to sort of chat like they usually do, and so it was just trying to keep people moving, having them wait outside for their kids to finish up. The social distancing in the stands. We had people come walking around just reminding people to social distance. We recommended masks to people. Some of them wore them, some of them didn't. It was it was all the sort of typical stuff that we're used to hearing about, but I think our group did a really great job in keeping people separated.
No, like you mentioned, Rhys, it's one of the things you mentioned, a gathering of young kids, 68 teams from all over Manitoba, a little bit from, like you said, Western provinces and Northwestern Ontario. We've been very fortunate with numbers, and as far as I'm concerned, the program and the tournament ran extremely well, so well that we're seeing another one at the end of August, the 28th through the 30th. That's going to be called the Summer Heat Tournament. It's a gold and silver. Tell me the difference between is that just different levels of hockey?
Yeah, just different levels, and we touched on that a little bit at the beginning. We want to have something for everyone. We don't want to match up, a team that's maybe been selected as a silver team. You don't want to have them match up against one of our gold teams. At that age, there's just different levels. So we try and make sure that kids are put into a level that suits them. In a typical tournament, we actually break it down to gold, silver, and bronze, just so that, again, those kids are having good competitive games. This year, obviously, with less teams, it's less divisions, but trying to find those good games for kids.
So roughly the same geographical area showing up at the end of August?
Yeah, obviously U.S. The U.S. teams are typically about 30% of our teams that come up to, and that's just not happening this year. So for us, we're looking potentially at some Saskatchewan teams. I know Saskatchewan's put some I guess rules in around tournament teams traveling. I don't know. I've heard lots of rumors about that. Northwestern Ontario, we've got a lot of teams coming from, Thunder Bay. There's Dryden and Kenora all have teams. A couple of Alberta teams that are registered, but predominantly more Manitoba teams again.
You mentioned a bit of normalcy returning back to the rink, Rhys. What was the greatest thing? I mean, I don't want to say sigh of relief saying, yes, hockey's back, but for these young kids, they haven't been able to endure a normal summer, a normal spring. Mom and dad are doing things differently now too. When you get to see two young teams playing on the ice, a sport that they love, how did that feel from not only being a parent, but also someone that has two boys in the program, just to see that bit of normalcy or that activity returning to a local hockey rink? What did that feel like in the summer?
It was one of the best feelings of doing this. Obviously this has been a fairly stressful year with trying to navigate, waters that nobody has really had to navigate before, especially being a new program. But to hear the feedback from parents, again, hockey is only one part of this. We're all going to hockey tournaments, and it's a lot of fun to watch the hockey. Ultimately, these kids were more excited to see their buddies that they've played with the last 3 or 4 years. And, not running around a rink, but just spending a little bit of time together and joking around in the dressing room and, you know, squirting water bottles on the ice and stuff like that. It was just a fun experience. And as much as the hockey was great and we had some good competition, just seeing the kids interact with the other kids was the new rewarding part.
Absolutely, no, and seeing them smile, I'm sure, celebrating.
Yeah.
Any cool celebrations you saw in the rink last couple of weeks?
Oh, these are especially at the elite division. These are all alpha kids that are out on the ice, and you get some funny ones, that's for sure. I saw Timu Solani shooting a glove there.
Okay.
So that was probably the most interesting one that I saw.
The highlight, if you will. We didn't see any Dave Tiger Williams riding the stick or anything like that.
No, I didn't see any of that. A little bit of dusting of the ice and
Okay.
some big pumpernickels, but no, they were having some fun scoring some goals.
You'll have to explain to your children who Dave Tiger Williams is. I just dated myself and have to find some. I think Ty Domi's done it a couple times as well, but nonetheless, one of the best sellies. Rhys van Kemenade, I want to thank you very much for joining me today. You see on the bottom, Manitoba Junior ICE.ca, where you can grab information for the upcoming year, some of the perks, some of the developments, development programming that's involved with this program. Like we said, it's an experience that, you know, if you're serious about playing hockey after your current season, by all means, get into it. Really great program, really great staff, and great resources to have. I wish I had what you guys have put together 20 years ago, Rhys. Thank you very much. Is there any last mentions you'd like to say before we say goodbye?
No, like I said, really, really happy to be on the program. You guys are doing a great thing for amateur sports, and you know, wherever we can work together, I'd be happy to do so.
Fabulous. Rhys van Kemenade, what is your position with the Junior ICE program?
So I'm the director of teams and tournaments for 50 below. So manage all the Winnipeg stuff here as well. We've now got tournaments throughout the U.S. So we're growing.
Yeah, the NAHC isn't just Manitoba laden; it's all over North America.
Yeah, so the NAHC we're going to have in Alberta and obviously Winnipeg. We've got some really cool stuff coming down the pipe. Think Little League World Series, and you'll sort of get on to what we're going with here. So there's going to be some cool stuff that's going to be announced. So maybe next time that I'm on, we can chat a little bit about that.
No doubt. I think you guys have become not just hockey. As far as a little birdie told me, there was a couple of acquisitions that have occurred over the last month.
Yeah, some stuff not quite finalized yet, but we've definitely the plan is to grow through acquisition as well as just growth opportunities. But we've got a lot of cool stuff coming down the pipe.
We will release that information when it becomes official. Rhys, thank you so much for joining me. Have a great day and enjoy some bubble hockey this upcoming week. I know many of us will be looking forward to watching the boys play.
Exactly. Thanks, man. Talk to you soon.
On the ice here with Amateur Sports TV and Rhys van Kemenade. Thanks for watching. Have yourself a great day, and we'll see you guys next time. Take care.